Good afternoon, all. Paul from CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, July 31st. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of ES and NQ. So, month comes to an end. Really interesting day today, right? We gap higher with all-time regular trading hour highs, but we leave the overnight as our all-time high. We took back that excess from the last 2 days only to get new excess in NQ at the highs. Now again, do I think that will hold? I don't. Because of the all-time highs being in the overnight. We attempted to go trend down 3 times today. That failed. However, we do go out with an outside day down in NQ, and ES just missed. Now remember, I said I'm calling the daily balance this morning because I had it down yesterday. I said I don't care how high up it goes. I would use today's high and yesterday's low as the balance. Well, if you were calling it up this morning, you have to be calling it balance now because we took out yesterday's low. So what is your balance on the daily? Today's range. That's it. In ES and NQ. You take out today's low, you'll be down the daily again. You take out today's high, you'll be up. So fascinating how short-term traders, we talk about what happened, but we also have to talk about what didn't happen. So what didn't happen or hold? Well, we gapped higher but didn't hold it. We attempted to go trend down 3 times but didn't hold any. ES did have a chance to have an outside day down. They didn't. So NQ did and held it. We go out in ES with a price probe. So interestingly enough, NQ doesn't price probe to the downside, but they have an outside day down. ES does price probe, but doesn't have an outside day down. So we got with a price probe and an afternoon rally high in G in ES. NQ goes out with an afternoon rally high in G also. Righty spent the whole day in the lower distribution from yesterday and below it. They tried to get into the single prints, barely got in, but that was it. They got both overnights. They end with an afternoon rally high in G. The other thing, we talk about that 80-20 rule. Well, ES and NQ both opened above value from yesterday. They got accepted into it in C and D and eventually got value low. These are all little nuances and things we see on the profile that we talk about constantly in here. NQ's value ended unchanged. ES barely held on to overlap into higher. I had a really good day today. I did a lot of trading on both sides of the market. The majority was from the short side. I got my staple plays, which was the overnights, the one-time framing, the IB low. I did take one loss in D period, but I got that back nicely in the same time frame. So it was a combination of looking for the staple plays. I got the afternoon rally high very nicely in F and G period. That was very nice. And we talked about we didn't want to see pocket raised up here, and it never did in NQ. Now, ES slightly raised their POC, but not to the degree NQ would have if it had gotten up to a certain level. So all little nuances we talk about throughout the trading day came to fruition, right? Wasn't the easiest day. Very early it was pretty accommodating. Believe it or not, there was a lot of CD going on. We opened with gap, value, and indices in favor of the bulls. So what do? We go and get the overnight low in a heartbeat. Now, obviously, the overnight inventory was very, very long. So once we got it, again, I wasn't going to say I'm going to just continue to look for shorts. However, on pushes up in A, I did do very well on shorts against very visual levels, which were 1 minute balances or the 144 and things of that nature. The other thing to keep in mind, NQ never saw the opening again. ES saw it in B and that was it. B period was nothing. I did nothing in B period because it was just chop. But once C got the ball rolling, and we got the IB low, lowered POC, filled the gap, things started changing. So again, and these are things we are just constantly talking about all day. All day. Again, it's not about my trading, but it's about telling you what I think can happen in the market based on the profile so you can use your setups for your trades. That is what's important. Now, Amazon is out. Apple comes out at 4:30. You have the tariffs tonight at midnight. You have non-farm payroll tomorrow morning at 8:30. So again, this market is prime, hopefully, for some decent move. We had very good range and very good volume today. Now, the monthly and weekly is still very healthy, and the daily is only in balance. However, if you ever picked up any kind of selling, it would be interesting if we went to try to take out last week's low. Okay? So we'll see. If we do, again, we took out last week's high, obviously. So if there's any disappointment in earnings or non-farm payroll garbage or tariffs, again, you can maybe put the weekly back to balance. But again, the bulls are right now, even with today's action, firmly in control of the market. I'm telling you, even as crappy as today looks with losing the gap and having an outside day down in NQ and ES almost and taking out yesterday's low, that's all well and good, but it's only one day and it's still balanced. So first things first, if you're a bear, you need to take out today's low to go down, and then you really want to go get last week's low to put that back to balance. Okay? And then chart-wise, we'll recap all these tomorrow night. So here's your daily. We're at 100 million, so we're in the top 10 in volume for the year in SPY. That's very nice. Triple Qs at almost 63 million. They average 45 million. So good volume. So here it is, right? I told you we were down yesterday. So when we opened up early today, I said, there's no way I'm calling it up. It's still balanced. Well, regardless of what you call it, it's got to be balanced now. And it's a one-day balance. I mean, I know it's encompassing all these days, but your balance high and low is today. Now, again, if the all-time high was in regular trading hours, I would be more, I don't want to say confident, but maybe better odds that maybe bears could get something going if we come out of balance to the downside in the daily and get the weekly low. But the fact that the all-time highs are in the overnight leads me to believe the market is still not done making new highs. Again, thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. I hope you had a good day trading. Rest up, enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.